Hello, hello, hello. Okay. Being a second. Stretch out. Get ready to lock in. Yo, we are back. I'm glad I still have your submission because I forgot that my form deletes them automatically, which is a bit silly, but hey, what can you do? So, the plan is as follows. I'm gonna hope that other people join up or at least send in their stuff, even if they don't show up, and we'll just see how many tracks we end up. If not, maybe we'll do some production or something else. I don't know. We could just chat. Could also just be a short stream. We'll see where it ends up. All right, let's start off with a Kelly B tune then. And bum. First 8 bars of the drop is just repeated. We'll vary it soon. Sounds good.
Waiting for you, holding me up. I was a fool. So much I was falling apart. Waiting for you, holding me up. I was a fool. So much I was falling
Oh yeah. Love that lead. Beautiful. Really, really beautiful. I think the intro is good. This is actually, I will say, I think the cling, 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 it's a little static. Like, I think you could have the notes arpeggiate more. Let me open FL quickly. Oh, shit. I think I disconnected my camera. Yeah, I did. Does that fix it? Oh my god. My camera's super sensitive and awkward, so it'll sometimes be a little bit, yeah, thanks. Does that work? Oh. Okay. While I do this, let me explain a little further. So what I think. Is this gonna work now, or? Ugh. Oh, this is so frustrating. The thing is, my connector on my phone is like dead. Like it is. Does not lock in at all. I like how all you hear now is just my computer freaking the hell out. There we go. Let's go. We managed. Okay. Getting back to this. What I was trying to say is that I think the thing that makes the most sense is, let me just pull up a soft piano. The notes in the beginning are very static. They're super just like, keyboard isn't plugged in either. Holy. So goofy. Ugh. There we go. Perfect, we have piano. So, you just kind of need to listen to this. So, they're kind of going like. I'm just going to play any chord, right? So it's like. Right? And what I think would make sense if it went like. Just like have notes more staggered. This was really long-winded explanation for something I could have just said. But have the notes more staggered so that you get this like extra little bit of movement and depth on like a purely compositional level. Out of the stuff you already have, right? And then maybe add some extra delay to it. Because if we go back and listen to this.
waiting for you, holding me up. I was a fool.
Like it just kind of like rings. It's like ding, ding, ding. When in fact it could be like gling, 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 gling. Right? You get a little bit more of that like movement and echoing without necessarily adding more elements. You're just expanding the element you already have. Alright, what's up, Defon? Sent the wrong link for the feedback session. Just resend it. W for sure, yeah? Will do. Okay. I like this wide pad. It also feels a little static in the MIDI. But that's okay. Like, it's not that important. It can be more static because it's got this nice swell, this nice envelope to it already. What I didn't like necessarily is like this. Something about the way this granulated pad is articulating just doesn't hit for me. It just feels like there's not enough. I don't know, the grains just don't hit for me. It just felt like a little bit off-putting, even when it theoretically shouldn't have. It was just like, So what I would suggest is just mess with that synth a bit. And just try and move, especially like where specifically. Okay, wait, let me think about this. What's the best way to say this? So when you have a granular synth, right? It will pick a grain and it will have a certain size. Change the size and the length of that grain, because what you'll get is you'll just get way more play than between each of the individual grains that get played back. So it won't feel quite so monotonous. That makes sense. Yo, Irvin, how we doing? Yeah, definitely more automation and like stuff in that grain will just in that granular synth will just make it pop. And I think the bass sort of being low cut here is great. I think this bow thing could be fatter. Like I think it just needs a little more processing, and specifically more low end. It feels like the low end is not quite, like the sub is not quite compressed enough. Because then for the second piece, the whole piece, just like this whole section, little segment, feels like it has more bass to it, even though technically it shouldn't. And I think that's mostly the low mids of your bass just being more emphasized in that bit and giving the impression of a more impactful sub, even when it's not more impactful. It just has that feeling. So if you compress the sub more, it'll feel more consistent, even when you want to have a thinner sound. The chop is fine. Like the melody of it is fine. I just don't like this individual chop. It is like I feel like you could try finding a chop with a higher, either a higher note, which could be cool, or just like the same, like tune it to the same note, but have it be. What I mean is find a different chop that even if it's a lower note, for example, pitch that chop up. So you get that higher, kind of weird manipulated vocal sound out of a vocal that's being pitched up 2-3 semitones to be in the right melody. Or you could try changing the format of it straight up, like of this chop, and see if you get something cool out of it. Yo. Okay, bet. Hopefully that's helpful. Alright, next up we got Grief 105. Is that a fridge? That is a fridge. Made pop this time, more on the generic side, but I'm gonna let the vocalist cook. Nice. I forgot to add the lead. Oh, L. Unfortunate. Nice. Overall, the progression of this is really great. Yeah, I got your link. I put in the right one too. I mean, okay, my first, like, very technical thing is I think the kick's kind of mid. Like, the kick doesn't feel impactful. It's got this, like, it doesn't really feel like a kick. It kind of feels like a snare. If that's what you're going for, that's cool. But I do think a acoustic kick, maybe with either some cool just EQ and processing, or a sort of like Roland 808 like kick layered then with having an acoustic top layer over it, could be quite cool. Obviously you don't need to go too crazy for this pop stuff because it's not really about the instrumental as much as it ends up being about the vocalist. And I think melodically everything in here is correct. Like, correct being like, it just has this thing, like, you kind of, even in my head I'm already thinking like, oh, there's like a place you could do like a cool melody here or a cool melody there. And so it's good that you've left space. It is quite dense in the mids, which I like. I really like that sound, but I do wonder if there isn't maybe the opportunity to raise the octave of one or two of the instruments up, so that we're also leaving space then for a vocal to fit in, and using the space we have on the top end, because we don't really have like crazy hi-hats that need to be in the front here. Like, we have hi-hats, but you'll hear them anyway, even if some of the other instruments are taking up an octave. You could also theoretically start the song off and then later in the song have an instrument jump up an octave to get some variation. Because even though it's all going to be the same melody, same sound, it'll have a completely different feel to it. You actually end up getting more energy. Because usually when things go up in pitch, we also perceive them to have more energy. The last thing I would say is like the extra drums are cool. Like, all these claps and stuff are great. But I think it would be nice as well if you took some of these claps and like just made them weirder, like found weirder samples for them. Because they feel a little too like standard. It's like a little too generic. And I think you'll give yourself a bit of an advantage, not just on like a purely sonic level of like, oh, this is a great song. But more so on like sticking out from the crowd level, if you have weirder sounds in there. If it sounds like everything you've already heard before, that works great when you're already able to reach an audience and get them to listen to an entire song. And if it's something that they're already familiar with and they already know they like, it's going to be great. Because they're going to be like, cool, this slots in exactly to everything I already know. But when you don't have that advantage of everybody knowing who you are and wanting to listen to your stuff by default, it's advantageous to have something weird in there that makes you think a little bit more, and that might not be for everyone, but for the people for whom it is interesting and they find it engaging, they will find it substantially more interesting, and they're much more likely to repeat listen to it if there's weird stuff in there that they like. So I can definitely be advantageous for both you and a vocalist. It's just like, there's some weird stuff in there, and by weird I don't mean like crazy, I just mean like unique. It just has to be something that's like not, these are drums that I have made, that I've picked out of a sample pack that everyone else has already used, that definitely work, it sounds good, but also you've heard all of it before. Yeah, hopefully that is helpful. Okay, let me see, do we have anything in chat? No, cool. Hopefully that's helpful. Alright, Alvin remix Super Whip. Super Whip. Alright, let's take a listen. I'm expecting some nice compressed EDM.
Hold you tight 'cause I feel you move on. I've been with you now for so long. All the passes just seem to caught on. And I hope you love me one more night, so I feel fine. I know what we're doing isn't right, but it's do or die.
Ooh. That's a really cool section. What the hell?
But it's do or die.
Whoa. Damn.
Would leave me. Was searching for someone to complete me. I know the moment eyes met, I won't be the one for you till I'm dead.
It cuts off so specifically here. Hey, just resubmitted. Beautiful. Thank you very much. Okay. One, there's some really cool stuff in here. There's some really, really cool stuff. I love this.
But it's do or die.
This actually just feels like really, really, really cool build up. That's something that alone is going to catch people's attention. I don't like the intro. It just feels this, whatever the fuck this pad is, or it sounds like this weird like sine, like wavetable-y chord, like sine based chord. It just like, that has like some weird pitching to it, like some pitch modulation, or like FM. I don't think it's FM. Maybe it is some FM, some weird FM modulation. But it just, it feels like it's not playing nice at all with the vocal. So it just feels not really creepy and not really like satisfying. It's just kind of like in this weird, uncanny valley.
With you now for so long.
And the random lead in here just doesn't make sense to me. So I would probably say go back to the drawing board with this intro and figure out what it's doing. Like, do you want to have an atonal entry? Like, do you want it to be like a very vocal focused? Do you want it to be more balanced? Or do you want it to be focused on the instrumental? Because here it's kind of set up in a way to focus you on the vocal, but the context around the vocal just feels awkward. Also, the vocal itself is just clipping.
Seem to caught on, and I hope you love me one more night.
Like, yeah, there it's just like clipping, and it sounds pretty. It doesn't sound good. It's not a good kind of like a constructive distortion. It just sounds like this harsh extra hissing. So I definitely just fix that. The other thing I would say is like the drop is cool. It's really, really cool. It's this that rhythm. It's really cool. As a musician or as an artist, it's like it's one of those things that like it jumps out at you and you're like, whoa, this is really different. Like that's cool. If I were in the club, I would just be like, why did we do that? So I think if you keep this in, you're gonna get love on SoundCloud because people who just like to listen to bass house at home are gonna enjoy it. If you want DJ play at all, I think every DJ would listen to this and be like, how the hell am I supposed to fit that into my set? And not on the sound design level, just on like a rhythmic, it would throw me off. And I'm neither a good dancer nor do I go to the club often, but you know. I was recently, and it's interesting how sensitive you then become to like weird stuff when you just want to go out and dance and have a good time with your mates and whatever. So stuff like, as cool as it is, this rhythm stuff, it just can really easily kill the vibe on the dance floor when it's something that the audience is not ready for. They're not expecting. Yeah. That's really my main point. Other than that, like, I'd love to hear a finished version of this. This is the sound design quality is just excellent, absolutely excellent. Hopefully that's helpful. DMB id. This was the missing link. I'm actually kind of sad about this ID since I messed up a lot of sounds trying to get something good. Must rework this again. Okay, let's see. Ooh, good start. Whoa. Run that back. Wait, what? This is super cool. Whoa. Damn. Okay, I kind of see what you mean about messing up some of the sounds, but overall, like the composition of that idea is great. The composition of this idea. Great start. Like, I would say having a straight up reverse, a reverb reverse, you take the very first bit of this vocal where she goes, this but just take the like that very first part, reverse it. So just like take a snippet of that sample, reverse it, then add a reverb, like print that as like bounce it as a little sample, so you get this the very first part of the vocal, but then everything else is reverb tail. And make sure it's like a nice sounding reverb, you know, don't like just slap like any reverb, like do your best to like make the reverb itself sound good. And The best thing you can do is take the same reverb out of any other element in your track and then use that, maybe just make it a bit longer. And then what you do is you take that reverb tail that you've got, reverse it again, and then just line it up to where your vocal is going to be. And it's just going to sound so good because you'll just have like immediately the correct, perfect reverse. If you have questions about it, let me know and I can demonstrate it to you afterwards. Fruity Reverb 2. Fruity Reverb 2 is not too bad. Like, it can definitely be used. But yeah, if you want me to do a little demonstration of how that works, just let me know and I'll do it after we're done with the feedback. Because it's really easy, and what you'll get is you'll get two elements happening at the same time without them actually being there at the same time. So you'll get more anticipation under the very first seconds of your song. Because right now, this is fine, but it's kind of just one thing. It's like, there's like no real crazy movement yet. So it kind of starts off a little too stagnant, where it's just like, and then you're waiting like a full second before something else happens. You could just make it even more exciting in that very first moment. If you have that, instead of, you have that, I would like to hear more movement next to this pad, or next to this chord as well. Because it feels like the chord itself, it's kind of going, but there's like other little tiny atmospheres and stuff happening under it. And I would like to hear those moving around in the spatial context more. Like more panning, more little crystals of stuff on your atmospheres that are then shifting around left and right. Just to give it more movement, more excitement. But this is good. The vocal, I know you like this style of vocal and you know exactly how to serve it, which is great. Good arrangement with the drums, I think. Like, we know exactly what we're here for. This transition could be a lot stronger. Like the tape stop is fine, or like the mew. But it kind of feels like everything is just sort of spilling over, and there isn't really a sense of like building up to this moment where everything suddenly shifts. The transition itself doesn't get its own moment. It's kind of just jammed into like the end. It's like, oh, okay, well, we've 1 bar, 2 bar, 3 bar, 4 bars, 5 bars, 6 bars, 7 bars. Oh God, we're 7 bars in. Oh, okay, we're going through the first part. Stuff something into that last like little bit at the end of the bar, and then just kind of keep going. Whereas I would say, like, make a moment out of this transition. Like, make it something cool. You have the drum fill as well. But don't leave the chord here, for example. When you transition here, don't leave the chord just running the same way it was. You have to change the sound of this chord. Or, like, what I would recommend is, like, do an automation in the last 2 bars of this, so that we're already getting some change inside of the chord that's going on. It's like something in it's changing, it's getting more detuned, less detuned. And then you can have something cool happen at the very start, like at the beginning of that bar where we're transitioning over. And then realistically afterwards, it could either change into some completely different sound chord-wise. So you leave this as its own distinct section with this chord, or you can bring that chord back but just a little bit different, because honestly here it's too long, like it's too much of the same sound. It feels like you've tried to make all of these sounds like not sharp. Like it feels like there's a lot of like soothe going on here. That's like taking out a lot of these like nastier resonances. And partially I think it's just the processing that you've done to get to these sounds feels like it requires it, which may be true. What I would say though is it feels like a lot of the like mids have been just sucked out of these sounds. They're not loud enough either. I'm boosting the mids like crazy here. I'm just boosting at like 3,000 hertz. And it sounds good though. I will say part of this also comes from the fact that if you listen to the drums you're using, if we boost the high end of this, it's just noise. Like... Like these drums in their high end don't have any definition. There's no real attack to them. It's kind of just these like rides that have tons and tons of noise. Try to keep it clean. That's good. And it does sound fairly clean. So it's definitely the right move to start there and be like, cool, I'm going to try to make it clean. And then as I keep learning, I'm going to try to make that clean sound more and more impactful. And now this is where I think you've done a solid job of making it clean. And now we need to make sure that while we're making it clean, we don't take out everything that makes the sounds exciting. Hey, stream. Yo, what's up, Bowtie? Yeah, send something in, please. It's hard for me to say how you should do that. Like, I wish I could just give you, like, the whole guidebook of, like, just follow these 17 steps and all of your sounds will be fixed. But I can't. Hopefully my submission isn't broken this time. I also hope. I'll check right now. It isn't. Magnifique. Oh, what is that sound? Oh, I think I found out where the problem is. Okay, so you hear how now, like, I've been flipping on and off this EQ. There's just a lot of mess going on at 200 hertz. And it's like, specifically that frequency band where you're just getting, like, a lot of stuff. I'm home? Beautiful. Ah, now I see. Did you hear it now? Did you hear all that, like, gunky, muddy stuff going on down there? It's because of the Reese I forgot to remove? Reese basses are funky because they are fantastic, but they really test your ability to listen and control low end, because they're usually these detuned sounds that are also occupying the low end. So realistically here, part of the problem is just you have too much side frequency at this like 200 hertz area. For this kind of drop, low cut it all the way up to, like, not super harshly, like don't take like a literal limit that's like, you know, infinite dB going away, like brick wall, low cut everything up to like 500 hertz, because that's also not really correct. I'm talking about the side frequencies, not the stuff in the mids, like in the middle. But definitely remove anything that's going on below like 200, 300. Realistically, 300 hertz is probably correct for this type of Reese. So remove 300 hertz of the side frequencies. And even then, in the mids, you might want to take out some of that 220, 250 hertz. because you're trying to clean up all of these sounds on the top end, when in fact a lot of the times the muddiness starts in the bass. If you have muddy stuff going on in your low end, it does not matter what you boost, subtract, cut, filter away. It's always just going to sound kind of bubbly and unclear and just bleh. Because ultimately our perception of the high end of the frequency spectrum of, like, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000 kilohertz is actually directly related to our perception of the low end of the frequency spectrum. I realize that's inverted for you guys. So, like, if this is the low end, no. If this is the... What am I doing? This is 20... No. Yeah, this is 20,000 kilohertz. Perfect. I'm, like, trying to look at myself and figure out what's, like... Okay, that's 20,000 kilohertz. That's 20 kilohertz, right? What's going on here at 20K, or, like, between, like, let's say 5,000 to 20,000, is directly related to what's going on here between 150 hertz, 200 hertz. So if you control one, or if you make a change here, you will also perceive a change going on up here, because they're just related to each other. That's one of the things that's as interesting as well, is I find that as you get closer and closer to, like, the perceived middle of the frequency spectrum, you lose that asymmetry, right? You can have things just be loud, and obviously the ratio of, like, how loud your mids are compared to your highs makes a difference to how you perceive the mids, but that relationship between the low end and the high end is really distinct. Like, it's really, really distinct. So you have to be careful about it, or just be attentive to it. Perception-wise, it changes? Exactly. Another long-winded Kyokan rant. Yeah. All right, let me move on to the next track, because that was a lot, but hopefully that was helpful. Maybe I like the cold. Early work in progress. The break is not finished. There is no real build-up. The drop is the main thing that I focused on for now, and the contrast from break to drop is too big. Gotta introduce a lead or something. Okay, cool. But I'll take a look and see if, like, the core of the idea is coming through. Okay. Okay, one thing before we even get too far. When you go through and finish this intro, or this, like, break, it needs to be as dirty as this. Because this, if this is your opener, this is you setting the expectation for the kind of overall profile and vibe you're getting out of the song. And this is quite a dirty, vintage, noisy sound. And then you cut to this really clean synth. This dirty it up, do at least 3 or 4 different distortions, not intense distortions, just like little saturations. I would add a noise as well in with the saturation beforehand, so that the saturation glues that little bit of noise together. For that, like an RC20 before your distortions would be cool. And just get it moving a bit more, like get a little bit more, a little more wobbling, a little more energy. Because it'll just make the sound way deeper. Because it's a great sound, it's just too clean. Oh god, I already have more stuff. The other thing is it's played way too statically. So just like, and I know you can do this. You'll find a really lovely way to do it. Break up the notes so that it's not quite so. You just be like. Right, you want that attack of all those different notes, like playing together, like, why am I playing the most horrendous notes of all time then? Because it's like, and we want like, whatever. Ignore my playing. We just want to hear like that lazy, almost like lazy sounding playing. Okay. Hell yeah. Collaborated. Alright, let me keep listening. The noise here is good. The noise is maybe just a bit loud. This is great though. I like this. Love that little sparkly sound. Definitely keep that. Oh my god. Whoa, those drums are so dirty. It's so good. What the hell? Ooh. Oh my god. Oh my god, this is gonna be such a good song. Yeah, I love this. You've really nailed. The break fits actually quite well in terms of vibe. I know it's not finished, but it fits really well to this drop. It's like a really, really strong, intense feeling, but complementary contrast. You just have this nice ambient sound compared to... Holy shit. Sorry. My bad. I'm just playing around with EQ to see if there's... What I like about specifically EQing while listening, like the second and third times, is it helps me at least to find out like what is the balance of what I'm even hearing in the first place. Like if you take down the high end, do things improve? Does something change? Do you notice a different element more all of a sudden? Because it helps you realize what's occupying what space. I think here, a little bit more sub would be appreciated because you do have quite sort of like in the last track as well. You have quite a lot of high end going on, and like really elements like these leads that are like like poking out at you, and I think having a little bit of an extra like beefier sub would help. And this is really just like the 50 hertz things. Obviously take my thoughts with a grain of salt, right? I'm just one person. Mix it however you feel like it's good. You gotta go. I'll see you later, Evan. Hope you have a good day. Sorry, getting back to this, like, God, I love this drop so much. This is so cool. I don't have that much to say, to be honest, in the mix. Like, when I'm thinking about it, I was just tangenting about EQ. If we're talking about, like, I know you said that this is work in progress and the break is not finished and there's no real build-up, but I actually really liked the experience of sort of being kind of cold plunged into this drop. You get this just like really warm feeling that's like it's you have quite a mysterious chord progression. It's not even mysterious but like nostalgic. And then it's just like you hear that something's building. Yeah, I actually don't think you need to introduce the lead. I personally really enjoyed having that new thing all of a sudden, that thing that like it's like almost like it's invading the song. It's like this thing that's been sort of hiding in the darkness that then comes out at you, and it's like boom, we're here now. And I think the melody is cool. So what I would say is that instead of focusing on trying to introduce the lead too early, let it be just a thing in the drop. Let those be two separate melodic things going on, like separate compositions almost, in terms of what's going on in your break and build, and then what's happening in your drop. But build the energy in that build up more. So you just need to increase the amount of energy so it's not quite so dramatic, just in terms of like sonically, like how much extra energy we're going up. You want to build up the anticipation. And I think that's the most important thing, is just to get that anticipation going that something big is coming. In theory, you could also have a super minimalist drop where you take the energy all the way down to 0 and then let the drop hit even harder. The point is just that I, as a listener, know or have a sort of inkling that something big is coming for me. Something big is about to happen. And you do get a little bit of that feeling. You're just not expecting it to be this. Like I said, I like this experience of like being surprised. The surprise itself is really good. Because it creates a cool memory then, right? Because your first time listening to a song, it sets a little bit, usually it gives you a true first impression of like, what is this song? Am I going to listen to this ever again? What do I imagine while I'm listening to it? And so having a song that really surprises you is a valuable thing. Yeah, I would say a couple of extra melodic elements in here as well. Stuff that gives you this feeling. If we're going to take this picture as an example, right? I want to feel like I'm looking out into the darkness and something is sort of calling out there to me. Or there's an experience going on inside of me that's like being drawn out by the darkness here, by the woods. Is what I'm saying even making any sense, or am I just rattling off nonsense? Okay, what sounds do you think I should use in the break or intro? Let me think. Let me think here for a second. In terms of sounds, immediately what pops to mind is like a xylophone or some sort of bell instrument, because that would complement quite well. And it doesn't have to be a super harsh, high-end thing. It can just be kind of have a softer attack. Just be like a do-do-do-do-do. You could even have not the entire melody from your lead, but I would take fragments of that melody. So just take a three-note sequence, and then just include it in some way, shape, or form inside of that your break or your build. Probably towards the end of the build, I would say even or end of the break, it can start and then carry over into the build. And what's interesting is with the melody, as long as the notes are sequenced the same, the timings of them can be much slower. So you could have, let's say that a 3-note sequence happens, for example, in a bar. You could then have it happen over 2 bars or 3 bars, right? It doesn't have to inherently be, that's just an arbitrary example, but it doesn't have to be the same timing. You can actually, time-wise stretch that out, and it'll still feel like it belongs in the song. It'll contribute, and you'll get that impression that this is all the same thing, while also getting that like variation of a melody. I get you, haha. Thank God. Sometimes I listen to myself and I'm like, I know there's an idea of what I'm trying to say, but today's one of those days where I'm just rambling on, and it's not all coming out smoothly and elegantly like I wished it would. If I ever am that, but whatever. And yeah, I actually quite like having this one drop style. You've sent me a couple tracks that are like this, and I think it works out really well. Or I like the experience of it. It's cool. So definitely finish this. I'd love to listen to it once it's done. Okay, next up, and I don't know if we have had more submissions, but if not, that'll be the last tune of the day. Don't mind the Outer Wilds music in the background. Things You Don't Mean 7. Dot wave. Ooh. Different vibe, but also with the noise. Nice. Whoa. Damn. Nice. I think this is quite cool. One thing I'm going to say immediately is I think you should definitely have like a cool little riff. And a riff being just like a cool melody that at least like plays around in this like mode or the scale that you're going to here. Like just like let us feel the mysteriousness and the weirdness being relative here, but like that epicness of a scale. Use the notes that are so like the note relationships that are so interesting about the scale, because if you don't ever use them, you kind of feel like it's like, okay, it's like a little bit of a sprinkling in there, but it's not, you're not getting as much out of the scale as you could be. If you overuse it, obviously that also creates a point where it's just, it loses its luster a little bit. So definitely try to find the balance where you get like a cool melody that still uses conventional note relationships, but sprinkle in stuff in there that's going to create interesting harmony once you're already going to this place. Because everything else in here is a lot less like melodic, right? So just send it here, because you don't have to worry so much about like messing up or feeling like you're stepping back into some other part of the song, which is then not as crazy melodic, because it's all not that melodic. Cool intro. It's a bit static. I'm like not a big fan of this hi-hat that's just really loud, or this like shaker, I guess. Because it just sticks out a lot. Only because it feels kind of random. It's like not really, we're not really going for a dance vibe, but it's kind of just there. It's adding energy for sure. But I wonder if you could at least play together that shaker with another element that's very rhythmic other than the arp. Like something on the downbeat, a snap, a little koom, or something to let those two things play together. This slaps. Oh, excuse me. Mysterious ending, indeed. End part is kind of just thrown in there. I gotta let an empty space to be filled with something. I was gonna ask you about that because this. There's a track of yours that I quite like that also has this same style. Where is it? Is it Dragonhawks?
Like a
Great tune, by the way. I genuinely like this song a lot. No, it's not this. It was something else, but it has a lot of these, like... There's a lot of this negative space. And I'm a bit torn, because it feels like too much. But the idea of having negative space in there and letting these elements individually hit. Just bum, 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 bum. That is really cool and different. I really have nothing to say about the drop as it is. This section here, it's really cool. The sounds are great. What I will say though is you have a giant opportunity with the vocal, because it kind of just stays the same. And here I would say play around with different, a whole myriad of vocal effects and distortions and manipulations, because there's no reason the vocal has to stay so normal. Especially since you basically have the same sample going through the whole song, the more cool variations you can do in here, the fresher it's going to stay then. When you then move to this, you may also just decide, hey, this vocal is temporary. I'm getting rid of it anyway. I'm not going to worry about it, but it could be cool. Honestly, it might be better to just replace or remove the shaker. Yeah, I kind of agree. But I always like to give feedback on the principle that if you didn't think it had any place in there at all, you wouldn't have put it in there. Or it's like really something you've put in there in 5 minutes, but I can only judge based off of what I'm hearing. So I'm always going to try to come up with solutions that don't just basically be like... I'm going to try to come up with solutions that aren't, oh, just delete your song and make something else, because that's kind of pointless. You sent it to me for feedback, not for me to tell you that the song is useless and you should just make something else. Like, why? Especially when often there are so many great solutions musically that you can do that aren't just get rid of it. Sometimes just get rid of it is the correct option, but it's not that fun. Alright, that was it. I think that was everything. Oh, never mind. A Waka's tune slid in here. We must find... Oh, ooh, different style of thumbnail. I like this. I like this. Finally. Let's take a listen. This is like an interestingly nostalgic type of vocal chop. I really like it. It's giving like that Tropical House era Skrillex YouTube vibe. Whoa. though. This is so much more like a mature sound out of you. This is so cool. Da, 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 da. Oh, that's great. So good. This is really, really good. Like, ooh, this is something I like. I love your other music. This is something I can imagine playing at a party with my friends, or like in the background of, you know, somebody comes to hang out at my place. Oh, we're going to put on some more exciting music. I would play this knowing that with the feeling that everyone else around me would enjoy it as much as I will, or at least enjoy it, even if they're not going to get as much out of it as I. Oh, this is great. A couple of notes. I've got quite a few little notes, but there's just so much amazing about this. There's just great feedback to give. So one thing is I just think the bass is a bit underplayed. So the bass could be more exciting. Like, it's a bit too subtle. Like, I want to hear it a little bit more distorted and then just shaped a little bit so that... It's kind of tough because what's going to end up happening is that the lead will be less impactful. But I think if you put a little bit more, take a little bit of energy in the whole mix and give it to the bass, especially if you compress the sub even a little bit more than it's compressed right now. I know I've said that a lot over these last couple streams, but I've really come to believe that it's really fine to just have a complete super compressed low end because it just hits. Especially for dance music, like as long as your sidechain stuff is tight, just compress the hell out of your sub because no one's going to be able to tell the difference, and then it'll be loud and rich and powerful. So yeah, but I want to hear specifically a little more saturation on the bass so that it's you get a bit more of those upper harmonics at like 400, 500, 600 hertz, 1K, so that it's just coming a bit more alive in the mix. Maybe that will sound terrible. You'll have to be the judge of it, but it's something I think you should try. Then this section here, I just don't really like it. It feels a bit random. Like, I honestly think you can go from this what I would suggest here is, instead of going up in energy, like with a kick and clap, go into something that's more downplayed, but still shuffly. So just change to like more driving, like little, like shakers. I don't know, like a tambourine. I would suggest going away from these like kick. Like, I would keep this. Like, maybe keep that drum pattern, keep it going for this bit up till here, but add some extra little drums on, and then go straight into this. Because honestly, the 4/4 thing, it just feels a bit random, where we go from this, which isn't 4/4, to 4/4, but then right back to something that isn't 4/4 again, where we go to... It just messes a bit with your expectations of where the song is going. I just don't think the segment is that impactful that you need to keep it. But if you feel like it makes a difference for you, then keep it, you know. But I think this is... that arrangement that is suggested would be cooler. This part here, where we're coming then out of this song, that feels a bit rushed. And rushed in the sense that it kind of... it leaves you no real room to appreciate how cool this was and to let it sink in before we immediately get pushed to the next thing. Like, it kind of hard cuts away from that section. So I would let some of that release and that tension, or not even that tension, but that excitement sort of spill over, you know, into this like boo 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 doo. And just let that tail hang around for a couple of seconds, while then this thing is starting to build up in the background. Just maybe remove the kick to start. So instead of having the kick here, have it come in halfway, but leave the snares rolling. Which is going to make it a bit of a slower build up, but it will, I think, still be very impactful. I think you'll still get enough energy out of it. Yeah, so here we already have them. That's where the kick and stuff is coming. And this is great. So this, for example, you know how critical I can tend to be about fake outs? This is a perfect example of fake out, because we've got, or like where a fake out feels really good, because we already know the drop that we are going to, but we've had a very short build up to get to it. So this is great because we've got this big high energy section with a short build up afterwards, and then we get this nice little like, let's get back acclimated, like, cool, that was a really great little side quest, but now we're getting back to the main thing. We're going back to the... which gets everybody just into it. You get ready for that groove that's returning. So great. What I will say, I love this chop, this ew, 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 ew. But it sometimes is not really choppy. It's like ew, 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 ew. Instead of being ew, 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 it goes like ew, 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 ew. So it kind of like oscillates between the two, and I think it would actually make sense to have it stay choppy. So it has that really distinct tag, so it keeps just going like this the whole way. Because it's just so dancey, and having that thing sort of bleed over where it stops being like da 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 da. See how it kind of takes the energy out of it? Yeah, I would just leave it choppy because it just sounds so good. And it sounds like maybe there's a phrase or a word at the end of it, which is where that longer, more sustained part comes in. I would take that, separate it from that ew, 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 and have it be a layer that's like, instead of being in the mix, then something that's on top. And have it be like a cool transition element. You could even have it on top, or you could even have it like panned around to the side of what's going on. Depends how in the front you want that element, like how much you want us to take notice of that element being there. But otherwise, this is just so class. Like, I can't wait for you to release this. This is gonna be so great. Also fantastic. Overall, this is cinema. I hope you're doing good, my G. You doing any genre? Absolutely, I do any genre. Can you still submit? Yes, you can. You absolutely can. I see nothing. Nothing. Sorry, I read this chat. Like, I know this came in like 6-8 minutes ago. I'm just really slow at reading chat, especially when I'm tangenting. Just locked in. Ah, that's why. I forgot to pin this. Oh, no, I did pin it. Never mind. Hayes, submit your music, please. Oh, there it is. All right, we'll wrap up with a Hayes tune then. With Spooky. Cool song, and only half is done, so it should be twice as long, but I just put an outro just for satisfaction. Mix is not perfect, especially in the drop, but it's something we're working on. Cool. Spooky's planning on putting vocals in the piano section in the drop. Will note. Oh wait, so this is gonna end up being a 6-minute banger. Make this vocal louder. Why is it so quiet? I can't hear him. Whoa. Lovely. Great composition? Yes, it is. Ooh, I love us. Oh, I love how big crushy that end bit is. El Clásico. The only thing I don't super like about this drop mix-wise is just the kick. The kick feels a bit papery. And not even like a ton, it just feels a bit papery. Like it feels like it needs to be a little bit more boom. And it's kind of like puh. It's like boom, poo, 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 poo. And it needs to be like pum, 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 you know. Like, okay, maybe that's a big difference, but... It doesn't feel like it has a substantial enough thump to it. Like it needs a little bit more. And it's a bit like poop, and then it goes away. So it might actually need to be a longer kick, especially because it's not happening so often. It's not like 4/4 constant kicks. Yeah, it just feels like also level-wise, it's not really hitting. Part of the problem is not even the length of the kick, maybe. It's just that it's not really... doesn't feel like it's hitting with the same amount of volume and impact that the elements directly next to it are. So it just feels like it's like da-da-da-da, pa, da-da-da-da, pa. Like, you know, it's like da-da-da-da-da, or I guess for you guys it would be do-do-do-do-do-do, poo, do-do-do-do-do-do, poo. And it's like... it could be better. It could be better. Overall, though, everything else I really, really like. And I'm sure at 6 minutes it's going to be just as lovely. Like, this will be a super great experience. You've become a fucking master at Botanica. So, good job. Kilcon approves. Alrighty, thank you. Yeah, I wish I had more to say about this, but it's just, I like it. That's the problem. Is sometimes when people send you things that are good, and you're just like... good job. I don't actually need this. Like, you're good already. I know you sent it to me for help, but I can't. Somehow I can't help you. Yeah, I really failed to see like anything here where I'm like, that should change. I guess my feedback is it's cool. It's good. Do we got anything else? No, that looks like the end of our stream then. Feedback was really good, don't worry. I'm glad. I'm really glad. There's something in particular, a transition that I wanted to highlight here that was really good, and I don't remember what it was now. Was it here? Oh, this here was great. I don't know why, but I liked this. This, like... that the way that then like opens up to da-da, that thing falling on the side, like that whole segment just like feels really tight, even though it's not like a tight tune. It's just like the execution of it is tight. Okay, I will stop just glazing and yapping. I'm gonna go make some dinner because your boy is hungry. I hope you guys got something out of the stream, and provided this guy doesn't fall on my head, next week we will be back on Saturday, so I'll see you guys in 6 days. Please keep cooking diligently so that I have cool music to take a listen to. Hope you have a great week. Thanks for the feedback. Absolutely. And I'll do my best. Alrighty.